The first time I saw my mother's face hanging in a billionaire's house, I was 8 years old and bleeding from my knee. I was standing in a marble hallway with a sack of yams at my feet, dust on my skin, shame in my throat, and there she was, smiling from a golden frame like she belonged there. Let me ask you something. If you walked into a stranger's mansion and found your mother's picture on his wall, what would you think? My name is Victory, and I'm going to tell you the story of the day my life split in two. That day started in a cramped hospital room in Lagos, the kind of place where the paint has given up, the fan turns slow like it's tired of being alive, and the smell of antiseptic can't hide the scent of fear. I was sitting beside my mother's bed, my feet not touching the ground, my fingers laced through hers, trying not to think about how cold her hand felt. My mother Lilith was lying there with sweat on her forehead, lips dry, chest rising and falling, like every breath was an argument with her own body. I didn't cry. I'd learned early that crying didn't fix anything. Tears didn't bring food, didn't stop landlords from banging on doors, didn't make doctors soft. You know what I mean? In our world, crying was a luxury you couldn't afford. The door opened with that slow, heavy sound, and in walked Dr. Adabio. White coat, tired eyes, brown folder against his chest like a shield. To me, he looked like someone who decided whether people lived or died just by how he breathed. "Good afternoon, young lady," he said. I jumped up. "Good afternoon, sir." He flipped the file open, skimmed, sighed. "Adults always sigh right before they break your world a little more. Your mother's condition is stable for now," he said, "but she needs further treatment, more tests. We have done what we can for the moment, but we cannot continue without payment." "Yes, sir," I whispered, even though he hadn't said the number yet. "The bill is now 45,000 naira, he continued. "If we do not receive payment by tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. sharp, we will have to discontinue her treatment and discharge her." He might as well have said, "We are scheduling your mother's death for tomorrow morning." That's how it sounded in my head. I swallowed hard. "Sir, please don't stop. My mommy is very sick, but I will bring the money. I promise." He looked at me like he'd heard that sentence 1,000 times. "This is a hospital, not a charity," he said quietly. "Talk to the cashier. You have until tomorrow." And then he walked out, just like that. I sat back down slowly, placed both hands around my mother's and leaned close to her face. "Mommy, I'm here," I whispered. "Don't worry, I'm going to fix it." Her eyelids didn't move. Her fingers didn't squeeze back. I didn't know much about interest rates or contracts or big numbers, but I knew one thing. 45,000 was a mountain, and we didn't even have the hill. But I also knew something else. I was all she had. The hospital was not far from our place. One room in a tired building that always felt like it was apologizing for existing. The walls were peeling, the ceiling leaked when it rained, the bathroom worked when it felt like it. But it was where my mother hummed songs while cooking, where she pulled me close on bad days and said, "As long as we have each other, we are not poor in the way that matters." That day the room was quiet in a way I hated. In the corner sat the brown sack of yams, 15 tubers. That was our inventory, our emergency fund, our dinner, our rent, our life. My mother usually carried that sack to the roadside to sell every evening. She was too sick now. So I walked over to it. I wasn't strong enough, but I didn't ask permission from my body. I grabbed the rough sack, dragged it across the floor, bit my lip when my arms burned. I hauled it to the door, tied it shut, then did what I had seen her do 100 times. One deep breath. I lifted it onto my head. My neck bent. My back screamed. I adjusted. 45,000, I whispered. "We can do this." I knew better than to stay in the neighborhoods where people counted coins to survive. I loved them, but love doesn't pay hospital deposits. I turned my feet toward Victoria Island, toward the high gates and shiny cars and streets where money walked around, pretending not to see people like me. The sun in Lagos doesn't just shine at attacks. By the time I reached the first mansion, I was sweating through my school uniform, my arms numb, legs trembling. The gate was tall, black, sharp at the top, the kind of gate that feels like it's laughing at you. I knocked. A small hatch slid open. A guard looked out with bored anger. "Yes, what do you want?" "Good afternoon, sir," I said as polite as my mother taught me. "Please, I am selling yams. Fresh yams, very good. My mother is sick, and I need to pay the hospital. Can you buy—" He squinted at me, then scoffed. "Do we look like people that buy from the street? Get away from this gate before I call the police." He slammed the hatch. "Pattern interrupt, 1 gate down, 100 to go." At the second house, a woman opened. Elegant hair, clean perfume, disgust in her eyes. "What is this? Why are you here?" "Ma, I am selling—" "I don't want to hear it. Go away. Don't bring your poverty here." She shut the gate in my face. At the third house, a young man opened phone in his hand, eyes soft. "What are you selling, little one?" "Yams, sir, 500 per tuber." He looked at the sack, then at me. "Come," he said. He pulled out his wallet, handed me 1,000 naira. "Keep it. Don't worry about the yams." I felt something warm in my chest. "Thank you, sir. God bless you." Some bought. Some shouted. Some stared like I was a stray dog. Some gave without taking anything. The hours crawled. My shoulders hurt so badly, I wanted to lie down and sleep in the middle of the road. But every time my body wanted to quit, I saw my mother's face in that hospital bed. By the time the sun was sliding down, I counted the crumpled notes and coins in my hands. 18,000 naira. Good money for a girl with nothing. Still not enough to save a life. I stood there on that rich street, sweat and dust on my skin sack lighter, but still heavy, and I felt that familiar tightness in my throat. The one that says, "You tried, and it doesn't matter," at the same time. Then I saw it. At the end of the street stood the biggest mansion of them all. White pillars, immaculate lawn, golden gate with a crest, tall palm trees like bodyguards. It looked like the kind of place where even the dogs had bank accounts. "This is my last chance," I whispered. I walked to the gate and knocked. Another guard. Dark shades, no smile. "What do you want?" "Good afternoon, sir," I said. "Please, I'm selling yams. My mother is in the hospital. I need to pay the bill. Can I please speak with the owner?" He laughed like I told a good joke. "Do you know whose house this is?" "This is Mr. Philip Johnson, one of the richest men in Lagos. You think he has time for you?" I held my ground. "Please, sir, just let me try." Second guard walked up, already annoyed. "Oga, let's send her away. She will disturb us here." They grabbed my arm and tried to drag me off the gate. That was the moment someone inside happened to look out the window. He saw the guards yanking a small girl with a sack of yams, heard my words about hospital and mother and money, and something inside him didn't let him look away. He hung up the phone, walked out, tall, mid-30s, clean cut, sharp eyes like he was used to making big decisions fast. He walked down that driveway with purpose, and the guards immediately straightened. "What is going on?" he asked, voice calm but serious. "Sir, this girl is disturbing us," the first guard said. "We were just sending her away." He looked at me, really looked, at the dirt on my skin, the blood on my knee, the sack digging into my shoulders, the way my chin was set because I refused to cry in front of them. "Let her go," he said quietly. "Sir, let her go and open the gate." They obeyed. "Come inside," he said to me. I stepped into a place that felt like another planet. Smooth driveway, green grass, a fountain in the middle catching the last light. The house loomed above us like a palace. Inside, polished marble floors, high ceilings, art on the walls that looked like it cost more than everything in our building put together. My chest tightened, not from awe, but from something close to shame. He led me into a wide sitting room. "Sit," he said gently. "What's your name?" "Victory, sir. Victory," he repeated like the name surprised him. "How old are you?" 8, sir." "Where are your parents?" "My father is dead." I said the lie I was raised on. It's just me and my mommy. She's sick. The doctor said if I don't pay 45,000 by tomorrow morning, they will stop her treatment. He looked at me for the long moment. How much have you made? I opened my hand. 18,000, sir. So you still need 27,000? Yes, sir. He nodded once. Wait here, Victory. Let me get my wallet. He turned and walked down the hallway toward a door that was slightly open. His study. And that was the moment everything changed. I sat there trying to breathe, trying not to touch anything. My eyes wandered because how could they not? The furniture, the chandelier, the rug so soft it looked like it never met dust. Then I glanced towards the open study door. On the wall behind his desk was a large framed photograph. At first it was just a picture. A young woman in a yellow dress, standing near the sea wind in her hair, smiling, like the world hadn't disappointed her yet. I stared. My heart dropped into my stomach. I knew that face. I got up without realizing it, walked slowly toward the study, eyes locked on that frame. I stepped inside. That's my mother, I whispered. He heard me. He was opening a drawer when my voice hit him. He turned, saw me standing in front of the photo, my hand over my mouth, my eyes wide. Victory, he said. What are you doing in here? I turned to him, tears finally breaking free. Sir, why is my mommy's picture on your wall? Silence fell heavy. What did you say? He asked. That woman, I pointed, that's my mommy. Her name is Lilith. His face changed. All the color left it. His shoulders sagged, his hand went to his mouth. Her name is Lilith, he whispered. Yes, sir. He walked toward the frame like it might vanish. Looked at it. Looked at me. Looked again. Then something in him broke and I could see it. He knew. Before he could say anything, another voice sliced through the room. What is this? We turned. An older woman stood in the doorway. Elegant dress, perfect jewelry, expensive perfume, eyes like cold steel. She scanned me like I was a stain on her floor. Who is this child? She snapped. And why is she in my son's study? Mother, wait, he said. I don't care who she is, she cut in. Get her out, now. Ma, please. I tried. That's my mommy in the picture. I swear I just wanted to know why. Enough, she hissed, stepping forward. She grabbed my arm hard. You see a picture and decide to pretend you people never stop. Mother, stop, he shouted. Listen to her. But she didn't. She dragged me out of the study, through that sitting room, past the front door. Open the gate, she ordered the guards. Throw this child out. And if she ever comes here again, call the police. They pushed me so hard I fell. My knee split open, blood dust, yams scattering across the ground. The gate slammed in my face. Pattern interrupt 1 minute. I was about to save my mother the next. I was lying in the dirt outside a house that somehow knew our past. I sat there and cried. Really cried this time. Not the careful kind you swallow, but the kind that shakes your whole small body. Then I remembered the beeping machines, the deadline, the 45,000. I wiped my face, gathered the remaining yams, pocketed what money I had, and walked back to the hospital. By the time I got there, the sky was dark. I handed the money to the nurse. She counted it. 18,000. You still owe 27. If you don't bring it by morning, we stop. Her voice wasn't cruel, just used to this. Yes, Ma, I said. Thank you. I walked into my mother's room, and she was awake. Victory, she said, voice weak but alive. Where did you go? I've been so worried. I ran to her, hugged her, slow, careful. Mommy, I went to sell yams, I said. I made some money for the bill. She stared at my bloody knee, my torn dress. What happened to you? I sat on the bed, took a breath. Mommy, I said, something strange happened. Tell me. So I told her. Every piece. The houses. The rude ones. The kind man. The giant mansion. The photo. The angry woman. The way they threw me out. She listened in silence, and with every detail her face changed, like I was peeling back layers of a wound she had buried. Mommy, I said quietly, why is your picture in that rich man's house? She closed her eyes. Describe him to me. He's tall, fair, serious face, kind eyes. They called him Mr. Philip Johnson. Her hands started to shake. No, she whispered. No, God, no. Mommy, what's wrong? She grabbed my hands tight. Victory, we need to leave this hospital. Tonight. We need to leave Lagos. What but mommy, you're sick, you can't even stand. The doctor said, I don't care, she said, panic rising. If he saw you, if she saw you, we are not safe. Who that woman, the one who called me a liar? She looked me straight in the eye. And in that moment I knew this wasn't just about money or pride. The man you met today, she said slowly, Philip Johnson. He is your father. There it was, the twist. The lie I was raised on cracked wide open in one sentence. I stared at her, all sound sucked out of the room. You told me my father was dead. I lied, she sobbed. I had to keep you alive. From him, I asked. No, she said. From his mother. And then she told me the part of the story that wasn't in any of my bedtime memories. She told me about being a receptionist at a big hotel on Victoria Island. About a young man named Philip who wasn't like the other rich guests. How he spoke to her like she existed. How he stood at her desk longer than he needed to. How he asked about her dreams. How he never mocked her for having none yet. They became friends. Then more than friends. Walks on the beach, late-night calls, promises whispered over cheap meals he paid for like it was nothing, and she cherished like it was everything. He told me he loved me. She said, her voice soft with old feelings. He didn't care that I was an orphan, that I had no fancy background. He said I was his peace. Then she got pregnant, and she was terrified. But when she told him he was happy, truly happy, said it was the best news of his life. Said they'd get married, move in together, raise the baby as a family. He wanted her to meet his mother. She didn't tell me this part when I was little. She told me now. She hated me the second she saw me, my mother said. She looked at my dress, my hands, my accent, my skin, my silence. She asked questions that weren't questions, just insults in disguise. And when Philip insisted he would marry me, she smiled. But her eyes said something else. That night there was a knock on my mother's tiny door. It was Patricia, alone. She came into my room like she owned it, my mother whispered. She looked at my cheap furniture, my worn-out shoes, and then she told me plainly, You will never marry my son. You will not have this baby. If you try, I will kill the child and destroy you. I have the power. No one will look for you. Did you think she was bluffing? I asked. She shook her head. I saw her eyes. She wasn't bluffing. So my mother did the thing people love to judge from the outside. She ran, no note, no explanation. She left the man she loved to save the child he didn't know how to protect yet. I chose you, she said, sobbing now. I chose your life. We hid. We moved. We scraped by. She lied to me about him because it was easier than telling me the world might want me dead before I was even born. And now they've seen you, she said. That woman will connect the dots. We have to go. Before I could answer, we heard footsteps. Firm, purposeful, coming down the hallway. My mother's face went pale. It's too late, she whispered. The door opened. Philip Johnson stepped in. No guards, no gate, no distance. Up close, he didn't look like a billionaire. He looked like a man who hadn't slept, whose heart had just been dragged across broken glass. Lilith, he said, voice trembling. It's really you. My mother immediately turned away. Philip, you can't be here. Please, you have to go. He stepped closer. I've been looking for you for 8 years. I thought you were dead. I thought I did something wrong. Then today I see a little girl with your face standing in front of my gate, and she tells me her mother is named Lilith. He looked at me. I looked at him. I'm not leaving, he said. Not until I understand. My mom was shaking, voice barely there. Your mother threatened to kill our baby, she said. That's why I left. Silence. Heavy. Violent. He froze. What did you say? She told him everything. The threats. The midnight visit. The promise to erase us. His face went from disbelief to horror to rage. My mother did that, he said like he was choking on the words. I'm sorry, my mom cried. I had to protect Victory. He went down on one knee beside her bed. All this time, he whispered. All this time I thought you abandoned me. But it was her. He turned to me, eyes filled with guilt. Victory, he said softly. Am I your father? I felt like the room was spinning, but I held his gaze. Are you? I asked back. Yes, he said. And I'm so sorry I wasn't there. I didn't know. If I had known, nothing on this earth would have kept me from you. I studied his face. The nose, the eyes, the jaw. All the pieces of me I'd never been able to trace. You look like me, I said almost to myself. He laughed through tears. You have my eyes. I stepped closer. Something in me broke open. I hugged him. He held me like he was afraid if he let go I'd disappear again. Right there in that hospital room, something shifted. The girl with the sack of yams had found her father. The man in the mansion had discovered his daughter. The woman on the bed was no longer alone with her secret. Doctor, Philip said suddenly, standing up, wiping his face. How much is the bill? 45,000, Dr. Adabio answered from the doorway, still in shock over what he had witnessed. I'm paying it. And more. She gets the best treatment you can offer. No delays. He made the call in front of us. Immediate transfer. Extra cash for any additional care. Then he turned back to us. I'm not leaving you again, he said. When you are well, you and Victory are coming with me. Somewhere safe. Somewhere my mother will never touch you. Philip, you don't understand, my mom said weakly. She is powerful. She's not going to let this go. I don't care, he replied. I'm not the boy I used to be. I have my own power now. If she wants a war, she can have it. But she's not getting you. Now pause for a second. Stick around because what happened next will blow your mind. While Philip was busy fixing what he could in that hospital room, his mother was doing what controlling people do when they feel their grip slip. At the mansion, Patricia made her calls, confirmed Lilith's name, confirmed the hospital, confirmed the bills, confirmed the little girl. She summoned Philip. He went because sometimes you have to look the past in the eye and decide who you're going to be. He walked into that sitting room, and she was there, poised, teacup in hand, like nothing in the world could move her. Sit, she said. I'll stand, he replied. I hear you've been very busy, she said, visiting some woman, spoiling some child. He clenched his jaw. Her name is Lilith, and the child is my daughter, your granddaughter. She is not my granddaughter, Patricia snapped. That woman is a gold digger. She trapped you, then she's trapping you now. Philip laughed, no humor in it. She ran away from my money and raised my daughter with nothing. That is the worst gold digger I have ever seen. I warned you 8 years ago, Patricia said. And I'll warn you again. If you continue this madness, I will cut you off. No more access to family accounts, no more protection, nothing. You choose her, you lose me. And here's the thing. Years ago, that would have worked. Not this time. Keep your money, he said. I don't need it. I built my own. She narrowed her eyes. Then I will take other steps. I can speak to her. I can speak to the child. He stepped closer, and this time he was the one with the dangerous eyes. If you go near them, he said quietly, if you threaten them, if you so much as think about hurting them again, you will regret it. I am not your scared little boy anymore. You would choose them over your own mother, she demanded. He took a breath. You forced that choice the night you threatened to kill my child. He turned toward the door. Philip, she shouted, if you leave, don't come back. He paused, just a heartbeat. Goodbye, mother. Then he walked out. If it were you, what would you have done? Do you think he was wrong for cutting off his mother? Or was she the one who had already cut herself off? 3 days later, my mother was strong enough to leave the hospital. Philip came to pick us up. He had clothes for us, real food, medication, even a toy for me that I was almost too shy to accept. He did not take us back to the golden prison with the angry woman. He took us to an apartment in Lecce. Not ostentatious, but safe, clean, beautiful. Is this hotel? I asked. He smiled. No, baby girl, this is home. 3 bedrooms, a kitchen with shining counters, a bathroom that worked a view of the city lights. My mother cried quietly in the doorway. Philip, this is too much. No, he said gently, touching her shoulder. This is the beginning of what you deserve. Life didn't turn into a fairy tale overnight. Trust is not something you buy with furniture. I had to get used to having a father. A man who showed up, who cared about my homework, who asked if I'd eaten, who looked guilty when I mentioned walking with the sack of yams. My mother had to unlearn fear. Every knock on the door made her jump at first. Every unfamiliar car on the street made her check the window. She knew what Patricia was capable of. Philip had to live with the weight of choosing. He had chosen us and walked away from the woman who raised him. And some nights I could see it in his eyes when he thought nobody was watching. And Patricia, she stayed in her mansion. No miraculous redemption. No big speech. No hugging at Christmas. Just a woman who had everything except the one thing she thought she owned, her son's loyalty. So here's where I leave it with you. Was my mother right to run without telling him the truth? Would you have stayed and risked your child to test if his love could stand up to his mother? Or would you have done exactly what she did? Do you think blood demands loyalty, even when that blood threatens to spill yours? Do you believe a parent like Patricia still deserves a place at the table just because she gave birth first? If it were you, what would you have done? Drop it in the comments honestly. Argue with me. Defend her if you dare. Call my mother a hero or tell me you think she should have trusted him more. Tell me if you've ever seen someone use money and status to decide who deserves love, who deserves safety, who deserves to be believed. Stories like this aren't just entertainment. They're mirrors. They show us what we really think about power, about class, about mothers and sons, about the price of doing the right thing when it hurts. If this story hit you even a little, do me a favor. Like the video, so more people can hear it, share it with someone who needs a reminder that their life matters, even if they don't have a golden gate, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next story. We drag out of the dark. And before you scroll away, tell me where you're watching from, and whether you think justice was actually served here, or if this family is still paying for one woman's greed.